Hello and welcome to a brand new reading vlog. Normally I try to at least start these off with, like a good angle, good lighting, but it's 8 p.m. and I want to talk about a book, so we're gonna deal with this. So, in my last vlog, I think the last thing I talked about was The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. If you want to know my thoughts on that, go check out the previous vlog. But after finishing that, I picked up Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I didn't really want to read this right now just because I didn't want to start another series because I'm in like the middle of 3 right now. But fill in the blank here, audience. I'm sure you can by now. This came in on audiobook from my library, so I started it. Truthfully, I wasn't that excited for this. I mean, I feel like the hype around it kind of died down since this first came out. And it wasn't like I didn't want to read it. I still wanted to read it. I just wasn't as excited for it as I previously was. And honestly, y'all, I freaking love this book. I gave it a 4.5. I just had some minor issues that didn't make it a full-on 5. But the female friendship in this, I know everyone talks about it, but oh, it's so freaking good. Safi and Izult are just amazing characters. Like, their friendship is amazing. Them as individuals are amazing. They're so smart. They're so strong. The way they fight together and their undying love for each other. They would just do anything for each other. Oh, it makes me so happy. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. And there are other characters in this who are also really, really amazing. There's Merrick and Cullen, who have such a great friendship as well. Merrick in general is so great. I'm really excited to learn more about him and all the people we meet on his ship and see where the sort of romance goes that starts to blossom in here. It's like an enemies to lovers. We didn't get much of it in this book because it really is focused on the friendship, which is great, but I am excited to see where that goes in the next book. The only thing I didn't like about this was that, one, I found it a little confusing at times, like the magic system. Part of it is probably my fault because during the beginning a little bit I was listening to this when I was real sleepy and I kind of like dozed a little. But I went back and, skim read what I missed or kind of missed, half listened to, whatever. And even then I still just feel like some things could have been better explained. I think this book would really benefit from a glossary of both like terms and characters in the back. But hopefully the magic system and the world and everything just becomes more solidified and understood and explained as the series goes on. There's also one other thing that I didn't quite love, but I can't talk about it because it's a spoiler. I did mention it in my Goodreads review because they have that like option to like hide when you talk about a spoiler. So I'll leave that link down below if you want to know what it is. But otherwise, I love this. Like I said, nearly a 5-star. It was great. The plot isn't like spectacular. Like, it's not like brand new, never read anything like it before, although kind of. But the characters are just so amazing. That's what I look for in books. It's been a while since I found characters that I really, really loved. And I love these characters so much. So if you haven't read Truth Witch, I obviously highly recommend it. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to read next, but I think I might pick up Side Effects May Vary by Julie Murphy, because if you know, in my last vlog, I picked a, I picked this book out of my TBR jar to read for this month. I was actually going to pick up Linger by Maggie Stiefvater because I started Shiver last month and, I wanted to continue with the series. But I went to get the audiobook from my library and they were all checked out. I literally just checked recently and all 3 copies were available. So I was like, okay, it'll be there when, when I'm ready to read it. And then I'm finally ready to read it and it goes all checked out. Sorry. Guess that's what I get for not checking it out right away. Lesson learned. But yeah, I might try this one either just physically or on audiobook. I don't know. We'll see. So it is Thursday, April 12th. Last night I finished Side Effects May Vary by Julie Murphy. I wasn't a big fan of this one. I gave it 2.5 stars. I feel like I wrote my thoughts out pretty well in my Goodreads review, so I'll link that down below. But my main problem with it is that the main character, she's very unlikable, and that's fine for me. Like, I don't need to like a character to enjoy a book, but the way it took her arc just didn't do it for me. And I really hated how the characters, especially the female characters, were so stereotyped. Like, there was the bitchy mean enemy that has no redeeming qualities. There's the shy girl that's just there to like play, or like, I don't even know. Alice had literally no female friends or any female relationships that were strong in this book, and the way she just like looked at other women was, I was just like not here for it. And Harvey, the main love interest, is fine, but I don't know, there's just something about him that was off-putting to me. Like, he tries to be a good person, but then he's that kind of person that's like, oh, I'm not the kind of guy to do this, and then he does the thing he just said, so it's like, what are you talking about? So yeah, I think this was just average as a plot and everything. I think it was well written in the sense that the characters are very complex. You know, you really don't like them, especially Alice, but you can also sympathize with her, because you can kind of understand where she's coming from. But the way it wrapped up, and like I said, the treatment of literally any other character, I was just not a fan. So I believe in my last clip I said that I was gonna start Linger by Maggie Stiefvater, but it wasn't available at my library, even though it was before. But then right when I finished Side Effects Mayberry, Linger became available at my library on audio. So I just started it. I'm really just started it, so I don't have like any opinion yet. It is interesting that we're getting 2 new character perspectives for this one. I don't know how I feel about that, because I was pretty much just attached to Sam and Grace, but I don't know, we'll see. Hello, it is Saturday now. Yesterday I finished Linger by Maggie Stiefvater. I didn't like this one as much as Shiver. I give it 3 stars. It wasn't necessarily bad, it's just that like nothing happened. Normally I'm like fine with character driven books. I prefer books that focus on their characters more than their plot. And this book was doing that, but it still didn't have like enough going on to make it like okay to just focus on the characters, not the plot, you know? I will say that this book really got to me in a way that books normally don't. Like, I remember at the end of it, I was just like sitting there like, wow, I feel really heavy after reading this book, because it's just really not depressing, but kind of. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's kind of good because obviously it really affected me, but on the other hand, I don't really want to come out of a book feeling heavy. I don't know, it might just be me being dramatic, but whatever. The end though was pretty good. Like, it had me on the edge of my seat wanting to hurry up and finish it just to see what happened. And I do really like Cole's character. He's a new character we're introduced into. He's a new character we are introduced to in this book, and for most of it I was like on the edge, but by the end I was like, yeah, I like him. So today has been, I don't know, interesting. It's like 3 o'clock. I spent 2 hours FaceTiming Whitney. I mean, I was FaceTiming her, but it was really just like me trying to wake her up, which she asked me to do, but you know, it can be hard sometimes. So as I was doing that, I did start Forever, which is the next not last book in this series. Like, I know there's another one, Sinner, I think, but I don't think it's necessarily a part of the main trilogy. I honestly don't know. I haven't looked up anything about it because I don't want to be spoiled. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna spend today reading / listening to that. I don't have a physical copy of it yet, but I do have it on ebook and audio from my library, so I don't know what this is. Wow, I sure do love spring. So glad it's April. April showers bring May flowers. This lighting is trash and it would look much better if I went over by the window, but I am just too lazy today, so this is what we're gonna work with. So I just finished Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. It was a solid book for me. I gave it 4 stars. After I like finished writing my Goodreads review, I went and looked at everybody else's reviews, and a lot of people give this like 3 or 2 stars, and their complaints are very valid now that I'm reading it, so maybe it's more of a 3-star book. But I'm going to keep my rating just because that's how I feel. And I think a lot has to do with the fact that I was listening to the audiobook for majority of it. And so when things did get a little slow or whatever, I could just kind of whoop and then turn back in when I needed to. But I don't know, I just thought the ending, it was a little ambiguous and I would have liked more. I know there is Sinner. I don't know if it clears anything up. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to read it or not. I don't even know what character it follows. I think the explanation for the wolves and everything that was, you know, the plot of this one basically, was a little fuzzy, but it didn't feel like I needed to have a solid explanation. I don't know. I just really love the characters in this book. I love Sam and Grace. I love Cole. Isabel's fine. Like, I'm not really attached to her, but I love Cole. So the writing is just so atmospheric. I feel like I'm in the woods in Minnesota. I feel like I'm running with the wolves. And I just feel like there's a lot of deeper themes here. I think there's themes of humanity and what it means to be human, and human and animals interactions with each other, and like how we treat animals and how we look at them, and how we embrace them. I don't know, maybe that's just me being a crackhead, but that's what I got from this series. I think it was solid. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna read Center or not. Have to figure out who it's about. So moving on, the next book that I'm going to be reading is Wind Witch by Susan Duddard, which is the sequel to Truth Witch, because it came in from my library on audiobook. You know the drill here. One last thing I do want to do in this clip though is I want to pick out another book from my TBR jar thing. I did end up reading April's book, as you know. I think it was that in this vlog or the last one, I don't know, but I read Side Effects May Vary, so April's is checked. So now I'm just gonna find May's because I'm impatient and I want to know what I'm gonna have to read in May. Ooh, I don't know what just came out, but here it is. Can you see it? No? Oh, I think I already read this one. Yeah, okay, this is The Glass Castle, and I read that back in March, so let's pick a different one. What's this? Can you see it? What does it say? Sorta Like a Rock Star by Matthew Quick. All right. So this will be what I have to read in May. So yeah, I read 2 books by Matthew Quick. I was gonna say the only one I read is Silver Linings Playbook, but no, this year I read Forgive Me Little Peacock, and I enjoyed that one. So I definitely want to give this a go. I've liked every Matthew Quick book that I've read, so. Hello, so it is Friday now, April 20th. 420. I honestly can't remember the last time I filmed a clip. Since I last filmed a clip, I have started Wind Witch by Susan Duddard, which I think I said I was gonna do. I've been kind of reading this slowly. It's like the end of the semester, so school is sort of my big focus right now. And I'm definitely not enjoying this one as much as I did Truth Witch. As you know, I really loved that one. And this is just not quite living up to it. Like, it's not bad, but I think it's suffering from some pacing issues, and I still think that parts of the world, like the magic system and the politics, I feel like some of it could just be better explained, because at points I'm just a little confused. But I am at a point where I think I'm getting to, you know, we're starting to get into some action here, so I think it's gonna be pretty exciting from here on out. I think so, at least I hope. I don't know how far I am into it because I'm like reading the ebook / listening to the audiobook, and I don't have a physical copy yet, but I think I'm over halfway, I think. So yeah, I'm feeling a little like off today. Like, I just don't feel in my groove. So I'm gonna try to put on the audiobook, listen to it for a while, maybe, I don't know, clean or do a little workout thing or something to just get me moving, because I just feel a little off, probably from hunkering down and doing schoolwork so much this week. Speaking of schoolwork, I also started a new book because I have to for class, and it's Persuasion by Jane Austen. I really only read like 20 pages so far, and I'm not a big fan of classics, so. But yeah, other than that, that's how things are going right now. I don't know why I keep moving. Hello. It is Saturday now. It's a nice day. The birds are chirping. Yesterday I finished Wind Witch, which I now have a beautiful physical copy of. I gave this one 4 stars. Like I said, I wasn't enjoying it as much as Truth Witch. It was just very differently paced from Truth Witch, and it kind of threw me off. The way that the story unfolds in this wasn't exactly what I was expecting. However, I did think by like halfway through the pacing picked up, and I really enjoyed the characters still. I really enjoyed the new characters we get to learn about, and I really like the different little storylines that are coming about in this. I think it paved a lot of new foundations, which is something you expect more of in a first book of a series than the second book, which is why at first it was like, what are we doing here? But I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think it's gonna be really interesting. So after I finished that, I was gonna take my dog on a walk yesterday. So I was like, I need a new audiobook to start. And I had Every Day from my library, so I started her. First of all, can I say the audiobook narrator for this book? Amazing. Impeccable. telling the story so well. Highly recommend. I'm only about 70 pages or so in, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very interesting. The concept, the way that it's written is very pretty. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just really enjoying it. Which is good, because this is a book that I almost unhauled, because I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna read that. But then the movie came out, and I was like, oh, well, if I read it, then I can watch the movie. So I kept it. So I'm glad that I kept it so far. So it's gonna be my goal to finish this book this weekend. I think I can do it. Now, when I bought Wind Witch, I did buy some other books, because I got this at Book Outlet, and can never just buy one book from Book Outlet. So let's do a little mini book haul, shall we? First book I got is one that I'm gonna need, so it was a practical decision, and that is The Beauty of Darkness by Mary Pearson, which is the third book in the Remnant Chronicles trilogy. I've recently been reading this series, and I only have this book left, so this was great to find on Book Outlet, especially in paperback, because that's the way I'm collecting the series. And then the next two were just kind of like impulse. I saw them, I wanted them, you know how it goes. First one was a total deal, because I got it as like a scratch and dent copy, and it's really not bad at all, and that is The Female of the Species by Mindy Mcginnis. I don't know much about this book. I think it's a girl. I know it has to deal with rape, and I think like getting revenge for that rape. I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard good things about this, and the cover is so pretty. I mean, look at that green. Oh my god. The only thing like wrong with it is like you can see right there, it's a little like torn, but honestly, like, who cares? This is otherwise a perfect copy. Shout out to Book Outlet, y'all the best. And then the last thing I got is another book that has feminist themes, and that is Moxie by Jennifer Matoo. I remember when this first came out, I think it was last year or 2016, I don't remember, but whenever it came out, it was getting a lot of hype, and I was like, oh, I want to read that, but I just never got around to picking it up. So when I saw it on Book Outlet for real cheap, I was like, hell yeah. Also, again, this cover, ooh, stunning, so captivating, love it. There's a blurb by Amy Poehler. I mean, I love it. So yeah, that was my mini Book Outlet book haul. I'm gonna go read now. Hello. So it's been a hot week. I'm pretty sure the last time I filmed a clip was on Saturday, and it is now once again Saturday. So let me catch you up on my reading this week, shall we? First of all, on Saturday, last Saturday, I finished Every Day by David Levithan. I give this 4 stars. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really beautiful. The only thing keeping it from being any higher is that I just feel like I didn't care about the love story, and that was obviously a big part of this book, was the love story, but I didn't really care about it. I liked the idea of, you know, waking up in a new body every day, and I liked like learning about the people. Like, I thought that was so cool. A message you can take away from it on just like humanity and like all that deep philosophical stuff. I thought it was just really interesting, but the love story, I just didn't really care about it. Also, I wish the ending was a little more explored, because it wrapped up pretty quickly while the rest of the book was thoroughly explored. But yeah. So the next book that I finished after that was actually one that I read for school, and it is Persuasion by Jane Austen. I don't have a physical copy, so photo. Like I said, I read this for class, but I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. I haven't read a classic since high school, and it took a minute to kind of like get into, you know, the way classics read, but once I did, it was like pretty easy to understand. I thought Captain Wentworth was swoony as hell. I liked Anne as a main character, and I thought the themes of the book were really great. I particularly was focusing on the persuasion part of Persuasion, and I think it deals with that really interesting. So yeah, I don't really have that much to say, because it's just something I read for school, a classic, Persuasion. So then the last book that I finished, and I just finished it tonight, that is Caress by Marissa Meyer, the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles series. This one has definitely been my favorite so far. I think I said in past vlogs, maybe in this vlog, I don't even remember, but Thorn is easily my favorite character in this series, and there's a whole lot of him in this, and it was just wonderful. He's just so great. He's everything I want in a character. He's kind of an asshole, but he's really sweet on the inside, and I just love him. As for this series as a whole, and just this book as a whole, I do think it progressed the story well, and it was pretty well paced. I still don't have that much of a connection. Like, I just know none of these books will ever be a 5-star for me. So yeah, did I say I give this 4 stars? I give this 4 stars. I just don't feel like I agree with the hype around this series. I don't know, it just doesn't connect as well, I guess, for me as it does to other people. But yeah, it's a solid series, and I really love Thorn, and this is definitely my favorite. So I am going to start Winter next because I have it in for my library on audiobook. Those are great audiobooks, by the way. Highly recommend. But yeah, so I think I'm going to end this reading vlog here. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you read recently down below. Let me know if you read any of the things that I read. I'm sure some of you have read the Lunar Chronicles. It's pretty popular. But until next time, see you in my next video. Bye.